Manage your subordinates with a psychological contract. In this lecture, I hope to help you establish a management mindset called the psychological contract. The concept of the psychological contract was first proposed by a management professor named Dennis Rousseau in the 1990s. It refers to the unwritten mutual expectations and anticipations between employers and employees. In other words, when a person joins an organization, they have certain expectations about what the organization can offer them and what they need to contribute in return. People make calculations based on these expectations, which are done internally and not explicitly stated like in a labor contract. But this is also a kind of exchange agreement, which is called the psychological contract. Whether a person is committed to their work and decides to leave is mainly determined by the psychological contract. Between you and your subordinates, besides the hierarchical relationship of leader and follower, there is also an unspoken understanding that you represent the company, need to understand and meet the needs of your subordinates, and in return, they work hard. This kind of hierarchical relationship is also called managing by transaction. If employees can see that they are actually working for their own needs, rather than passively working for the company's demands, they will not have the mentality of when in Rome, do as the Romans do, and you don't have to monitor whether they are late or lazy every day. You don't have to manage them, they will work actively on their own. The person who drives the establishment of this psychological contract must be every direct supervisor, which is you. Procter & Gamble has a classic saying, "Employees join the company because of the company, and leave because of their supervisor." This shows how important the role of the direct supervisor is in employee management. You are the bridge between the company and the employees. To establish an effective psychological contract, you need to ensure that 3 types of information are communicated smoothly. First, understand what your subordinates want. Second, let your subordinates see what the company can offer them. Third, make it clear to your subordinates what your expectations are for them. Understand what your subordinates want. Let's first talk about understanding what your subordinates want. You can start by asking yourself, do you really know what your subordinates want? At the most basic level, how much do you know about your subordinates' basic situation? Are they married? Do they have children? Have they bought a house? How long have they been working? You can obtain this kind of information by chatting with them over meals. Don't underestimate this information. Different subordinates value different things at different stages, and you need to tailor your approach accordingly. For example, an employee from a well-off family may value personal achievements more, while another subordinate with a family to support may hope for more cash income. A stable employee may want more vacation time to spend with their family, and a promotion or salary increase may not be as important to them. Young employees, in particular, value personal growth and future development. Don't assume that if a subordinate completes their work well, everything will be fine. Smart employees know that they not only need to be competent in their current job, but also need to constantly improve their abilities. Employees who hope to be promoted quickly will feel bored if you don't give them more opportunities and challenges. More specifically, what are your subordinates' career plans? Does their current job match their career development goals? Do they want to switch industries or change positions? How can you help them combine their goals with their current work? In addition to income and development, employees also have emotional needs. They hope to have a sense of accomplishment in their work and to play to their strengths. They need a sense of belonging and their values to be recognized and supported in the team, and so on. Do your subordinates feel satisfied with the current situation? Knowing their pain points can help you be more targeted in your approach. Of course, these needs and goals of subordinates will not be fully revealed to you at the beginning, and often, subordinates themselves may not have a clear idea. As a supervisor, you need to use every opportunity to communicate with your subordinates and observe them while working together. Smart supervisors do not judge which needs are right or wrong, or complain about their subordinates' many demands. Instead, you need to use these needs to drive your subordinates to meet the company's requirements. In addition to understanding what your subordinates want, you also need to let them see what the company can offer them. Many supervisors may think that they only have two cards to play: salary and promotion. In fact, supervisors have many cards to play, such as providing growth opportunities, whether it's training, exchanges, or more attractive projects. You know more about the company's resources than your subordinates, and you need to let them know what opportunities they have. At the same time, you need to learn to market these resources and opportunities. For example, only the best employees are eligible to participate in the company's recruitment. This is very helpful for developing your subordinates' leadership skills in identifying and evaluating people. If you don't actively explain the value of this work, your subordinates may even think that this type of work is an extra burden. In other words, if you treat your subordinates well, you need to let them know. Let your subordinates know what you expect of them. In addition to understanding what your subordinates want and letting them see what you can offer, you also need to make it clear to your subordinates what your expectations are for them. When each employee joins a company, they usually know the basic requirements of their position. However, I want to emphasize that it is important to clearly communicate to your subordinates their job responsibilities and significance, rather than just assigning tasks. During my previous experience optimizing processes for a company, I observed some department managers communicating in the following manner: Jack, you need to reduce waste by 3 points next month. Tom, you need to increase profit margin by 1 point next month. This type of communication makes employees feel like they are being ordered around by a landlord collecting rent, and they do not feel their importance within the team. This can easily lead to a negative mentality of, "I'll just do what the boss says," instead of taking initiative in their position. When assigning positions to subordinates, you should let them know the value of their position. When setting goals for subordinates, you should help them understand the significance of each goal. For example, instead of simply demanding that the supply chain reduce waste by 3 points, you could say, "Jack, the company is facing difficulties in meeting our profit goals. We need to both increase revenue and reduce waste. As a key member of the logistics department, I need you to come up with a plan to reduce waste by 3 points." This type of communication helps build a sense of responsibility in your subordinates towards their position. They will start to think about how to improve their work on their own. Finally, it is important to acknowledge and thank your subordinates when they exceed your expectations and help you in your work. Do not underestimate the power of a simple "thank you." As we mentioned earlier, to establish an effective psychological contract, you need to ensure that 3 types of information are communicated clearly. Here are 3 additional points to keep in mind. Firstly, the formation of a psychological contract is a gradual process. Trust between you and your subordinates is built over time, and both the company and individuals are constantly evolving. Therefore, do not rush and continue to pay attention. Secondly, as a superior, you should take an active role in the process of forming a psychological contract. In every communication opportunity, you should actively understand and care about your subordinates, making them feel like they are an asset to the company. Thirdly, you should manage your subordinates' expectations. For unrealistic expectations, you should clearly tell them as soon as possible that it is not possible. The earlier you communicate this, the more responsible you will appear.